Good morning. I know I haven't posted on here for a while. I've been in like a heavily focused building mode. So the social media of this has sort of fallen by the wayside just because we've been building websites for other people and social media for other people and working on other stuff, meeting potential new clients. But this is an important video. I haven't popped on here for a while and I feel like I really have to say this. We had a really, I say we because it was me and my executive assistant, Darren, who was amazing, who was taking notes the whole time on her laptop. I love that kid. Anyway, we met with a client, our typical clientele. Business owner wants to be able to step away from his business, wants to go see his grandkids. His kids, heavily educated now, white collar workers, don't want to take over the business. And he's considering two offers. He's considering Badwater, which will come in without ownership, without owning shares, and run the business for him for a fee, and do social media marketing, updating, hiring, firing, basically take over the whole thing so that he can go have a vacation, have a semi-retirement, because he doesn't want to stop working. He just needs a break, and then to come back and run his business with a light touch, right? That's what he wants. He wants to slow down but not retire. And I totally, as someone who loves my work and loves my businesses, I totally get this. I can't even imagine retiring. It sounds like a nightmare. Anyway, that aside, he was considering two options. He was considering someone buying 48% of his business, and how he had logicked it is, this person has sunk their money into my business, therefore they might care more about its success than Badwater. So I took a step back and I said, okay, cool. I understand that. That's an old school way of thinking, right? But here's the deal. When you're dealing with someone who is affluent, they can afford to sink money into a business and still not give it their full attention, right? So like loss of finance or financial investment for someone who has multiple companies doesn't necessarily mean they are fully invested in the success of your baby that you built for like over 30 years. I'll tell you who is invested in the success of your company and the expansion: the company that doesn't own shares, whose employment is reliant on you paying them every month. If you don't make the income, we don't get paid. So we can't fail. I need to put food on the table for my kid. And so your success means my success, really personally, right? And I don't get to split your majority share income from your company. If I don't make you more money, why would you spend your lump sum that you make from the company on me, right? So I'm a fixed amount. I don't own any shares. Badwater doesn't own any shares in your company. So ultimately, you're still the boss. You've just hired people to run your company for you who answer to you. So anything I do, no matter how much I argue that it's for your benefit, if you disagree with it in a moral or belief way, or just you don't like it, you just say, no, Donnie, I'm not doing it. We don't want to do that. And I'm like, I have to kowtow to you because I'm not a boss. I work for you, right? So even as a consultant. So that's the thing. So as an owner, this is what I said to this person. I was like, you really have to consider whether you want that lump sum of money because you are giving away half of your baby. And he's like, yeah, but I'll have the majority share, 52%. And I'm like, that's an illusion. So if you're a person who's buying in and sinking money into the business is buying 48%, that ain't shit. That's a 50-50. Like the election in the US has been won through the Electoral College with less margin than that. Right? So what it is, it's going to be 50-50. Essentially 48-52, that's mincing fucking bullshit. Right? This person is going to own half your company and is going to be able to argue with you. They're going to be able to say, you know what? I don't agree with that. I sunk money into this and I don't want to do what you want me to do. And they're going to share in any profits you make. So they could buy half the business and not do anything for you. And in fact, fail at it. It could be a hobby for them. They could afford to lose this money, but now they're taking half of whatever the hell you built. So how is that? It doesn't always equate that way. And that's the benefit of Badwater, is that we are your employee. True that we're not sinking a giant lump sum of money into your business, But you really have to consider whether that's what you want, or whether you want to receive your full share as 100% owner of the business you built and slaved and sweated over and bled over for the past couple of decades, and you want to keep receiving that money and maybe see it increase, but not be ball and chained to the bricks and mortar business itself. And whether you want to see it being brought into 2025, whether it's a website, sales, online services, marketing, automation, bulk sales, bulk services, for like this gentleman, he's a food maker and he has made his own hot sauce, which is really, really popular. And I was like, why isn't this bottled yet? This should be on shelves everywhere, you know? Just stuff like that. So yeah, just food for thought today for business owners who feel trapped by their businesses. These are the two options that you will most likely be offered.